Automakers and governments around the globe are poised to move electric vehicles in and gas and diesel vehicles out. The electric vehicle megatrend is unfolding, and insiders know the time to get in on nickel and cobalt, the two critical elements to electric car batteries, already in high demand, is now. Don't miss this chance to get in on the opportunity to invest in physical Class 1 nickel and cobalt before the mass market catches on. Go to www.silverbullion.com.sg/EV and participate in the electric vehicle revolution.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Market Update, December 2019. First things first, if you are new to this channel or you have not already done so, please do subscribe, click on the bell to be notified on new updates, and do give us a thumbs up. If you like what we do, we really do appreciate your support. Hope you all don't mind that for this edition I take a walk through my neighborhood over in Singapore, and I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas. Well, it's been an interesting year to say the least for this past year anyway for electric vehicles and the two metals, battery metals, nickel and cobalt. Looking at the nickel and cobalt price for the year, we see that nickel moved up from about $11,000 per ton in January of 2019 all the way up to $18,000 per ton in September, and has recently retreated somewhat, where it stands at a little over $14,000 at the time of this recording in late December. Cobalt, on the other hand, has been relatively flat in the mid $30,000 per ton level, and again, this is at the time of this recording in late December. Moving on, it's been a pretty interesting year for electric vehicles in the sense that we are starting to see electric vehicles grow up.
From QZ.com, 2019 was the year electric cars grew up. Electric cars had their biggest year ever in 2019, even as storm clouds gathered over their future. The numbers were huge. Automakers committed $225 billion to electrification in the coming years. Electric vehicles, or EVs, grabbed 2.2% of the global vehicle market over the first 10 months of 2019 as a slew of new models hit the road. Ford showed off the upcoming electric Mustang Mach-E, a crossover SUV, and an electric F-150 pickup. Tesla, of course, shocked everyone by turning a profit and previewing a strange future with his Cybertruck, potentially the Hummer for millennials. But it wasn't all rainbows. Outside of China and Norway, where car buyers enjoy generous incentives, the market is still driven by early adopters rather than the mainstream. EV sales for the year have been sluggish, while some states such as California have seen EVs capture 8% of new sales. The rest of the country has not yet caught on. After doubling down between 2017 and 2018, EV market share in the U.S. had crept up from 1.6% last March to 1.8% a year later. That hasn't slowed automakers' ambitions. They're betting it's better to get ahead of the now inevitable shift to EVs than play catch-up to established rivals and Tesla. But if demand fails to pick up, the big bet may mean consolidation and bankruptcy for some.
Part of that growing up has been in Germany, where Germany, at least for now, has taken over the lead in electric vehicle sales.
From Electric.co, Germany finally passes Norway, a nation 1/16 their size, in EV sales. Germany has taken the lead over Norway in annual EV sales for the first time, edging out Norway for total sales since the start of this year, as reported by Bloomberg. Currently, Germany's 2019 total is 57,533 EVs, while Norway has sold 56,893. This would be good news for Germany if it weren't so embarrassing for them and the rest of Europe. Norway is a tiny country with a population of just 5.3 million, where the main industry is oil and where the whole country is cold. Germany's population is roughly 16 times larger than Norway's, and yet Norway has still had higher EV sales than every country in Europe till now. Furthermore, it's possible that Norway might take back the crown with strong December sales, since the difference is only 640 cars, but the trend line suggests that Germany should hold on to the position. The change in leadership comes along with incentive changes and rising sales in Germany, along with shrinking sales in Norway. Last month, Norwegian EV sales fell by 27% and German sales rose by 9%. This is likely due to seasonal effects in Norway. People buy fewer cars in the winter, and incentive changes in Germany, along with the long-awaited entry of German auto manufacturers into the EV market. Germany has also shown some of the strongest leadership in the growing worldwide environmental movement. The German Green Party has been surging in the polls and was the most popular political party in the country for a while this year. In the most recent EU parliamentary election, they doubled their vote share compared to the previous one, coming in second place to the ruling center-right CDU party. Since then, CDU has moved toward more environmental legislation like the aforementioned EV incentives in response to the popularity of Degradation and the environmental movement.
And automaker Kia has grown and has solved their supply problems and is ready to go forward with another 3,000 pre-orders in Europe.
From electric.co, Kia solves EV supply problems, can deliver on 3,000 Niro EV pre-orders in Europe. Kia Motors announced that it has sufficient supply to clear an existing waiting list for 3,000 Niro EVs in Europe. It will take the company 6 months through the middle of 2020 to make those deliveries. Customers not already on the existing waiting list will take delivery starting in July of 2020. The first deliveries of the new and improved 2020 Kia Soul EV will begin in Europe in April. The Soul's powertrain and battery system are shared with the e-Niro, as it's called in Europe. Paul Philpott, CEO of Kia Motors UK, said, "Since launching e-Niro at the beginning of the year, we have received unprecedented demand, which has been a challenge to fulfill. As we enter 2020 with the Soul EV and e-Niro, we and our 190-strong dealer network are ready to meet customer demand for all electric cars." We won't see the new Kia Soul EV in the United States until about the fall of 2020. The outgoing 2019 model with just 111 miles of range has been mostly unavailable this year. The second-generation electric Soul bumps driving range to 243 miles. It's also faster, bigger, and gets a visual upgrade. Kia said that the Soul EV's delay was due to a limited battery supply.
Of course, growing up means growing pains, and yes, there are a few in the electric vehicle industry that are, without question, feeling some of those growing pains, such as Vale Mining Company.
From Reuters.com, Vale to exit New Caledonia, eyes Indonesia to boost nickel output. Brazil's Vale SA plans to exit its troubled New Caledonia assets, but still aims to ramp up nickel output ahead of rising demand for electric batteries. The planned divestment of nickel operations in New Caledonia comes after Vale said last month it would write down the mine and incur a non-cash impairment charge of about $1.6 billion in the fourth quarter. A year ago, the world's top nickel producer unveiled plans to invest $500 million in the mine after failing to find a partner for the operation. Recently, Chief Financial Officer Luciano Ciani said Vale had decided to exit the operation, which has been beset by technical setbacks, a chemical spill, and violent protests. "We realized we don't have the competence to raise the production levels with this technology to where we want it to be. We realized that others may have this competence," Siani said Vale was examining all options in how to exit the unit and would make a decision in the first half of next year. Last year, Vale's new Caledonian operations produced 32,500 tons of nickel, down from 40,300 tons in 2017. The company remained bullish on nickel. It aims to boost production of the metal by about 70% in coming years to 360,000 tons a year, mainly by expanding in Indonesia, said Mark Travers, Vale's interim executive director for base metals. Nickel is poised for a dramatic change, he told investors, but he did not specify a date for the higher production target. While there is an oversupply of high-quality nickel, the market is due to tighten in coming years as electric vehicle sales climb. The metal is currently mainly used as an alloy to make stainless steel, but is a key component in electric vehicle batteries.
And as Vale eyes Indonesia, we are going to see Indonesia slowing, if not stopping, their nickel exports in their quest to start up electric vehicle battery plants in 2023.
From Reuters.com, Indonesia targets starting up EV battery plants in 2023. Indonesia is aiming to start making lithium batteries for use in electric vehicles in 2023, alongside plants that are already slated to produce chemicals used in batteries, according to the minister who oversees the Energy and Mining Ministry. Coordinating Minister for Maritime and Investment Affairs, Luhut Panjaitan, said he wants investors to start putting money into plants to make batteries alongside the plants that will soon be producing battery chemicals extracted from nickel ore. We are in coordination with GEM and CATL to build lithium battery plants in Indonesia. The companies and their partners, which include stainless steel maker Tsingshan Holding Group, are building Indonesia's first plant to produce battery chemicals. Panjaitan said the government is looking at Patimban in West Java as a potential location for building battery plants. I asked them to work on this at the same time with the battery chemical plants. In 2023, everything must be finished.
And of course, some of the most painful of electric vehicle growing pains is, of course, charging. Here in Singapore, charging usually is not an issue. As you can see here in my neighborhood where I live, there's an electric vehicle company called Blue SG that has a good number of electric vehicles and chargers that are pretty quick, super convenient. Although this was not the case, as we found out over last month's Thanksgiving weekend in the States when it came to charging times and the availability of chargers. What we experienced was the growing pains of the electric vehicle revolution.
From Electric.co, rapid EV adoption brings queues at some EV chargers on Thanksgiving weekend. As expected, Thanksgiving holiday travelers pushed highways and airports to their limit, with the ranks of Tesla drivers growing at about 150,000 vehicles in the past year. Queues also formed at some of the most popular supercharger locations. The bad news, a few EV drivers had to wait in queues. The good news, it's a known and solvable problem with more chargers and faster charging rates already underway. A YouTube video from Thanksgiving Day showed about 15 Teslas waiting in a queue for vehicles using about a dozen superchargers in San Luis Obispo, California. In a video from a day earlier, Tesla, anticipating increased traffic, deployed a so-called rolling mega pack with 10 72-kilowatt superchargers on board. Tesla reportedly said the mega pack carried enough energy to charge about 100 cars. On November 30th, the queue in San Luis Obispo was reportedly 2 hours, but earlier, a driver tweeted that only one person was in line in San Luis Obispo. It took more than a century to develop a network of about 120,000 redundant gas stations in the U.S. The combined system of Tesla and other highway charging stations built over the past decade is expected to reach about 4,000 locations in the next couple of years. Fortunately, EV charging stations are commonly networked, providing a way for drivers to know via mobile apps and dashboard indicators if a charging spot is free, or otherwise reroute to an available location.
It's getting pretty hot in Singapore. I had to stop and grab a mango shake. Of course, with those growing pains, there comes a time we need to check on our health just to make sure everything is working right. And as such, Geotab has created an EV battery degradation tool to help monitor the health of electric vehicle batteries and to prescribe a prescription on how to maintain and lengthen the electric vehicle battery life.
From Electric.co, 8 lessons about EV battery health from 6,300 electric cars. A persistent concern among some EV drivers is the long-term health of the battery. All batteries lose some storage capacity over time, but how might that degradation affect your driving range a few years down the line? To help answer that question, we can now look to Geotab, a leading telematics fleet management company with access to a lot of EVs. Lo and behold, the losses are minor. Geotab created its so-called EV battery degradation tool by pulling data directly from the 6,300 EVs from its fleets. What's super cool is the interactive nature of the tool, allowing users to drill down to 21 specific electric models. You can use the tool to slice and dice the data for yourself. In June of 2018, Geotab acquired Fleet Karma, a forerunner in providing technology support the use of EVs in fleets. Here's a quick rundown of what the data revealed. If current degradation rates are maintained, the vast majority of batteries will outlast the usable life of the vehicle. The average decline in energy storage is 2.3% per year. For a 150-mile EV, you're likely to lose 17 miles of accessible range after 5 years. EV batteries decline in a non-linear fashion. There's an early drop, but the rate of decline slows down in subsequent years. Liquid-cooled batteries decline slower than air-cooled packs. Geotab saw that a 2015 Tesla Model S with liquid cooling had an average annual degradation rate of 2.3% compared to an air-cooled 2015 Nissan Leaf's rate of 4.2%. Battery-powered vehicles that have bigger state-of-charge buffers fare better. In other words, some car makers use a smaller percentage of the battery's capacity, which reduces usable range. But the conservative approach slows down the degradation rate, most notably in early versions of the Chevrolet Volt plug-in hybrid. Higher vehicle use does not necessarily equal higher battery degradation. Vehicles driven in hot temperatures show a faster decline in battery health. The use of DC fast chargers speeds up the process of degradation, but there's not much difference in battery health based on frequent use of level 1 versus level 2 charging. Losses that happen with frequent DC charging are made worse in hot climates.
Growing pains, sure, we all go through them, and the electric vehicle industry is going through them as well. Going forward, the adoption rate will come as the numbers are showing, and the adoption rate, it is different in different parts of the world, but I think in time we're going to see the laggards become more challenge the leaders, maybe in 2020 and beyond. As the smarts, the tried and true methods that are proven, the know-how, all these things that they start to become more cost-effective, along with Indonesia's slowdown on nickel exports, these things will both push up the price for nickel and cobalt. At least that's what I think. That's it for this month's market update. I hope you all again had a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'll see you next year, 2020. Take care.
Excited about the opportunities in the coming electric vehicle revolution and looking to invest in this electrification super cycle? Demand for battery metals like nickel and cobalt is expected to rise in tandem with the increase in demand for lithium-ion batteries in electric vehicles. You can now buy nickel and cobalt parcels with silver bullion and have a direct price exposure to both battery metals. You have the option to buy 2-ton nickel parcels or 250-kilogram cobalt drums. Every parcel will be fully insured against loss and guaranteed to be genuine by Silver Bullion. Selling your parcels to lock in profits is as simple as logging into your Silver Bullion account, selecting the parcels, and clicking Sell. Buy your nickel and cobalt parcels now at Silver Bullion's website www.silverbullion.com.sg/EV and participate in the electric vehicle revolution.
Interested but have questions? Email us at sales@silverbullion.com.sg or give us a call at +65 6100 3040.